Have you ever wondered if a single simple action in the morning could triple your risk of stroke after the age of 60? It sounds alarming, but this is a fact that very few people are aware of. On a Tuesday morning, Robert, a 68-year-old living in Florida, woke up like any other day. He jumped out of bed as soon as his alarm rang, feeling rushed to start the day. Just a few steps away from the bed, he suddenly felt dizzy, lost his balance, and collapsed to the floor. That was when Robert experienced a stroke, and the striking fact is that it could have been entirely preventable if he had known how to properly prepare his body right upon waking. Many people still believe that strokes only happen because of high blood pressure or a family history. In reality, the latest research from neurologists and cardiologists at Harvard, Mayo Clinic, and Cleveland Clinic shows that there is a common morning mistake millions of people over 60 make every day, and it quietly increases their risk of stroke. That mistake is getting out of bed too quickly right after opening your eyes. Morning is the time when the body transitions from deep rest to activity. When you rise too fast, your blood pressure can drop suddenly, blood may not reach the brain in time, and cortisol, the body's natural stress hormone, spikes. This combination creates a perfect storm for the brain, especially for blood vessels that have aged, stiffened, or accumulated plaque. In today's video, I'll explore with you why even a small action can be dangerous for those over 60, while also sharing the early warning signs that you often overlook each morning. You will learn a step-by-step method for getting out of bed safely, helping protect your brain and reduce the risk of stroke, along with important lifestyle changes to maintain long-term brain health. Grab a pen and notebook because what you learn today could change the way you start every morning, and sometimes it could even save your life or the life of a loved one. Before we talk about the morning mistake, it's important to understand what a stroke really is and why the risk rises sharply after age 60. A stroke, also known as a cerebrovascular accident, occurs when blood flow to a part of the brain is suddenly interrupted. The brain requires a continuous supply of oxygen and nutrients to function properly. When blood cannot reach it in time, brain cells begin to die within minutes. The consequences can range from mild issues with movement or speech to memory loss, paralysis on one side of the body, or even death. There are two main types of stroke that older adults need to understand. The first is an ischemic stroke, accounting for about 80% of cases. It occurs when a blood clot blocks the flow of blood to the brain, which can form directly in the brain or travel from another part of the body. The second type is a hemorrhagic stroke, which happens when a blood vessel in the brain bursts, causing bleeding. Although less common, this type is often more severe and carries a higher risk of death. Both can change a person's life within just a few minutes. The statistics are also alarming. According to the World Health Organization, stroke is the second leading cause of death worldwide and the leading cause of disability in older adults. Each year, over 15 million people around the world suffer a stroke, with about 5 million dying and another 5 million surviving but living with long-term disabilities. People over 60 are particularly at higher risk due to the natural changes that occur in the body. Blood vessels become stiffer, cholesterol plaques accumulate over the years, blood pressure fluctuates, and circulation becomes less efficient, making the brain highly sensitive to even minor changes. Beyond these factors, there are several common risks that many older adults often face. High blood pressure is a primary cause, increasing pressure on vessel walls and making blood clots more likely. High cholesterol also contributes to plaque buildup, narrowing blood vessels and reducing blood flow. Diabetes damages blood vessels and alters circulation, while smoking and excessive alcohol intake further harm the cardiovascular system. A sedentary lifestyle and a diet high in sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats also make blood vessels and the brain more vulnerable. An important detail that few people notice is the timing in the morning. Clinical studies show that between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. is the period with the highest risk of stroke. The reason is that upon waking, the body transitions from rest to activity. Blood pressure rises, heart rate speeds up, blood becomes thicker due to overnight dehydration, and the stress hormone cortisol peaks. This combination creates a danger window for the brain, especially in people with aging blood vessels. Understanding this mechanism helps you realize that a stroke is not just a random event or purely hereditary. It is the result of natural physiological factors combined with daily habits that many older adults follow without even realizing it. Being aware of the high-risk timing and the underlying mechanisms of stroke is a crucial foundation for changing your morning habits and proactively reducing your risk. After understanding what a stroke is and how dangerous it becomes after age 60, you might be surprised to learn that one of the most common morning mistakes can triple your risk. This mistake seems very simple, yet it directly affects blood flow to the brain in the health of your blood vessels. That mistake is getting out of bed too quickly right after opening your eyes. When we sleep, the body is in a deep rest state. The heart rate slows, blood pressure drops, and the circulatory system operates almost in an energy-saving mode. Blood is evenly distributed throughout the body, and the brain receives enough oxygen without the heart having to work too hard. But the moment you rush out of bed, gravity suddenly pulls blood down to your legs and lower abdomen, sharply reducing blood flow to the brain in the first few seconds. This is known as orthostatic hypotension. At the same time, the body experiences a sudden surge of cortisol, the natural morning stress hormone, to prepare for the day's activities. In younger people, the body adjusts quickly, and blood pressure and circulation stabilize within seconds. But in those over 60, blood vessels are stiffer, the nervous system responds more slowly, and the blood pressure compensation mechanism can't keep up. During those few critical seconds, the brain becomes oxygen deprived, and if there is plaque buildup or high blood pressure, the risk of forming a blood clot or a vessel rupture increases significantly. Research from Harvard and major medical centers shows that people who frequently experience orthostatic hypotension upon waking have a 2 to 3 times higher risk of stroke compared to those who get up slowly. To visualize it more easily, you can think of the body like a car. After resting all night, starting the engine immediately without proper lubrication can cause the engine to break down. Similarly, the body hasn't had time to adjust blood flow, the heart has to strain, and the brain is at risk. Serious incidents may not happen immediately, but these daily micro-stresses accumulate over time, causing vascular damage, forming potential blood clots, and gradually increasing the risk of stroke. Neurologists often recount many real-life cases. Maria, 68, got out of bed too quickly in the morning. Just a few steps in, she felt her legs weaken, couldn't stay upright, and collapsed to the floor. Her family quickly called emergency services, and she was diagnosed with an ischemic stroke. Another example is Joseph, 73, who also had the habit of jumping out of bed to prepare breakfast. One weekend morning, he experienced a severe headache immediately after standing up, and a few minutes later, lost consciousness. The diagnosis was a hemorrhagic stroke. These cases are not uncommon. They reflect the reality that the morning is the time when the brain is most vulnerable, especially when combined with risky habits. Understanding this mechanism helps you realize that the issue isn't just luck or genetics. It is a combination of age, daily habits, and the body's natural physiology. In the first few minutes after waking, your body needs time to adjust blood pressure, blood flow, and heart rate. Skipping this step puts your brain and heart under extreme stress in just a few seconds. And this is why adjusting your morning habits is the most important step in preventing a stroke. Just a small change, such as rising slowly, taking deep breaths, and sitting on the edge of the bed for a few minutes before standing, can significantly reduce the risk of experiencing serious consequences. In the next section, I'll show you 4 other morning habits that quietly increase stroke risk, habits many people often overlook, along with practical solutions to protect your brain immediately. Besides getting out of bed too quickly, there are several other morning habits that older adults often do without realizing they quietly increase their risk of stroke. The second mistake that many people make is skipping breakfast or choosing inflammatory foods. After 7-8 hours of sleep, the body's in a fasting state, blood sugar is low, and the brain needs energy to function properly. If you skip breakfast, cortisol, the body's natural stress hormone, rises to compensate for energy needs. Blood pressure can fluctuate suddenly, and circulation becomes strained. Even if you eat breakfast, choosing foods like pastries, bacon, butter high in saturated fat, or sugary drinks is putting stress on your blood vessels while they are still in a resting state. These foods trigger systemic inflammation, cause rapid spikes in blood sugar, promote plaque formation, and reduce the elasticity of blood vessels. Many nutrition experts suggest that a balanced breakfast, including light protein, fresh fruit, oats, or green vegetables, not only provides steady energy, but also helps maintain stable blood pressure during the early hours of the day. The third mistake is drinking coffee too quickly or on an empty stomach. Many people like to start their day with a strong cup of coffee to wake up, but caffeine directly affects the nervous system and blood pressure. Consuming it on an empty stomach can cause sudden spikes or drops in blood pressure, creating small vascular shocks to the brain. Caffeine also stimulates the body to release more adrenaline, causing the heart to beat faster and sometimes triggering irregular heart rhythms, especially dangerous for those over 60, whose blood vessels are stiffer and cardiovascular system less flexible. Some endocrinologists and cardiologists recommend drinking coffee only after having a light meal and sipping it slowly rather than drinking it all at once, giving the body time to adjust heart rate and blood pressure. The fourth mistake that many older adults overlook is not drinking water immediately upon waking. During sleep, the body loses water through respiration and sweat without you even noticing. Upon waking, the blood becomes thicker, flow slows down, and the heart has to work harder to pump blood to the brain. If you continue to skip water, the risk of forming blood clots increases, and the brain is subjected to greater stress. Just a glass of warm or room temperature water upon waking can improve blood circulation, reduce blood viscosity, and support more efficient oxygen delivery to the brain. This is one of the simplest yet scientifically proven actions to significantly lower the risk of stroke. The fifth mistake is rushing and becoming stressed immediately after waking. Many people check their phones, read stressful news, or hurriedly dive into work right after getting up. This triggers the body to release cortisol and adrenaline, causing sudden spikes in blood pressure and vasoconstriction. In people over 60, whose cardiovascular system and blood vessels have aged, these sudden blood pressure surges put immense stress on vessel walls and the brain. Instead of starting the day feeling rushed, simply taking a few minutes to breathe deeply, stretch your muscles gently and sit calmly on the edge of the bed helps stabilize blood pressure and promote steady blood flow to the brain, reducing the risk of blood clots and stroke. These habits may seem small and harmless, but when combined with the habit of getting out of bed too quickly, they create a perfect storm for the brain in the morning. Recognizing and changing these habits is the first step in protecting your brain health. You can start with simple actions, have a balanced breakfast, drink water before your coffee, sip your coffee slowly, and take a few minutes to breathe deeply and stretch. By practicing these habits consistently every day, you actively reduce the hidden risks that millions of older adults often overlook. Now that you understand these dangerous morning habits and how they affect the brain, it's important to learn how to get out of bed safely and mindfully, especially after age 60. Leading neurologists and cardiology experts recommend a simple method called the three-phase awakening, also known as the three-stage getting up technique. It helps the brain receive adequate oxygen, stabilizes blood pressure, and significantly reduces the risk of stroke during the early hours of the day. Phase 1. Activate your body while still lying in bed. Before sitting up or standing, spend 30 seconds to 1 minute gently moving your limbs. Open and close your hands, stretch your toes, rotate your ankles, and gently move your joints. You can mimic a cycling motion in the air with your legs or gently bend and stretch your muscles. The purpose of this phase is to stimulate peripheral circulation, awaken the nervous system, and gradually prepare the heart to work without sudden pressure. An easy way to visualize this is like gradually starting a car engine before driving, avoiding wear and tear, or damage to critical components. Phase 2. Sit up and breathe deeply. After gentle limb movements, slowly roll onto one side, let your legs hang over the edge of the bed, and sit on the edge for 1 to 2 minutes. During this time, inhale deeply through your nose, hold for 3 seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth. Pay attention to your heartbeat, blood pressure, and overall body stability. This is the time for your body to adapt to gravity, gradually adjust blood pressure, and distribute blood evenly to the brain. This phase helps minimize the risk of dizziness, loss of balance, or sudden drops in blood pressure, key factors that contribute to early morning strokes. Phase 3. Stand up slowly and walk cautiously. Once your body feels stable, use your hands for light support if needed. Rise gradually, lean slightly forward, and check for any dizziness or blurred vision. Only begin taking your first few steps once you feel completely stable. Once you are standing steadily, drink a glass of warm or room temperature water. This step is extremely important because after many hours of sleep, your body is dehydrated, blood is thicker, and a glass of water helps restore circulation, reduce blood viscosity, and support more efficient oxygen delivery to the brain. Some experts also recommend combining a few deep breaths with gentle stretches of the shoulders, neck, arms, and legs during the first 2-3 minutes, allowing the body and brain to fully adapt before starting the day. This three-phase technique not only reduces the risk of stroke, but also enhances alertness, improves circulation, and lessens stress on the heart and blood vessels, especially important for those with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or a history of diabetes. It's a simple, low-cost method that you can practice right in bed every day, turning an ordinary habit into a shield that protects your brain and cardiovascular system. The great thing is that you can combine this technique with additional habits, such as drinking water immediately upon waking, having a nutritionally balanced breakfast, and taking a few minutes for mental relaxation. When practiced consistently, this method helps the brain receive adequate oxygen, stabilizes blood pressure, reduces blood viscosity, and thereby lowers the risk of blood clot formation and stroke. Many neurologists emphasize that if the first few minutes after waking are done correctly, you are actively protecting one of the most important organs in your body. Imagine if every morning you practice this method, while also avoiding common mistakes like getting out of bed too quickly, skipping breakfast, or drinking coffee on an empty stomach. Each day, your brain would be better protected, lowering the risk of serious events. This is a simple yet effective approach that any older adult can adopt to take control of their own health. Overall, rising slowly, breathing deeply, drinking water, and starting the day mindfully are the keys to keeping your brain and cardiovascular system healthy, especially after age 60. Adjusting your waking habits is an extremely important first step in protecting your brain and reducing stroke risk. But it doesn't stop there. Neurologists and cardiology experts emphasize that daily lifestyle changes can make a long-term and lasting difference. This is especially important for people over 60 when blood vessels have begun to age and the body's self-regulation capacity decreases. The first and most important change is to manage blood pressure rigorously. High blood pressure is one of the main causes of stroke as it damages vessel walls, promotes plaque buildup, and increases stress on the heart. Older adults should monitor their blood pressure at home, record the results regularly, and consult their doctor if they notice any readings outside the normal range. In addition to taking medication on time, a healthy diet, reduced salt intake, stress management, and regular exercise all play crucial roles in maintaining stable blood pressure. The second change is to focus your diet on supporting vascular and brain health. Studies show that an anti-inflammatory diet rich in antioxidants and healthy fats has a positive impact on blood vessel elasticity and reduces the risk of stroke. You should increase your intake of green vegetables, fresh fruits, fatty fish, extra virgin olive oil, and nuts. At the same time, limit processed foods, sugary items, fried foods, and red meat high in saturated fats. This diet not only protects blood vessels but also helps control cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar, all crucial factors for brain health. The third change is to engage in moderate but consistent physical activity. Older adults don't need to run marathons or do intense workouts, but walking at least 30 minutes a day, practicing yoga, swimming, or even light dancing at home can all help improve blood circulation, enhance cardiovascular function, and reduce the risk of blood clot formation. Regular exercise also stimulates the formation of new neural connections, keeping the brain flexible and reducing systemic inflammation, thereby protecting blood vessels and memory. The fourth change is to supplement nutrients that support brain health, although the foundation should still be a healthy diet. Omega-3 from fatty fish or fish oil helps maintain neuronal cell membranes and supports brain circulation. Magnesium helps relax blood vessels. Vitamin D supports vascular and immune health, while coenzyme Q10 boosts cellular energy and cardiovascular function. Additionally, foods like berries, leafy greens, and turmeric contain natural antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds, supporting more efficient brain function. Before taking any supplements, consult your doctor to ensure they are safe and appropriate for your health condition. Finally, getting enough sleep and managing stress are equally important keys. Sleep helps the body regenerate cells, stabilize hormones, and maintain blood pressure. Prolonged sleep deprivation or living under constant stress raises cortisol levels, triggers systemic inflammation, impairs vascular function, and increases the risk of stroke. Establishing a regular sleep routine, avoiding electronic screens before bedtime, and taking time to relax with meditation, soft music, or an evening walk all help the brain rest and reduce stress. When the body is well rested and the mind is balanced, blood vessels and the cardiovascular system function more efficiently, thereby reducing the risk of serious brain events. Overall, the combination of safe waking habits, a healthy breakfast, adequate hydration, regular exercise, nutrient supplementation, and quality sleep helps people over 60 comprehensively protect their brain health. These changes don't need to be complicated or expensive, but if practiced consistently, they create a natural and sustainable stroke prevention system, helping you maintain memory, mental clarity, and cardiovascular health for years to come. Taking the initiative to adopt these habits today will determine the quality of your mornings, your days, and even your long-term health. We've just explored common morning mistakes and how they quietly increase the risk of stroke after age 60. From getting out of bed too quickly, skipping breakfast, drinking coffee on an empty stomach, not staying hydrated, to rushing and stressing immediately upon waking, all of these can create a perfect storm for the brain and cardiovascular system. The good news is that all of these risks can be managed if you know how to adjust your daily habits. What you've learned today isn't just theory. This is scientific knowledge based on research from neurologists, cardiologists, and nutrition experts, and it can be applied immediately in real life. Practicing each step of the three-phase waking technique, drinking water immediately upon waking, having a balanced breakfast, engaging in light exercise, supplementing nutrients, and getting enough sleep will significantly reduce your risk of stroke, proactively protecting your brain and cardiovascular system. Even a small morning change can make a big difference in your long-term health. I want to emphasize that you can start as soon as tomorrow. There's no need for complicated routines or major changes. A glass of water before your coffee, a few minutes of deep breathing while sitting on the edge of the bed, a healthy breakfast, light walking or gentle stretching, all are simple yet highly effective actions. Every morning you practice these steps, you're giving your brain and heart a protective shield. If you found this video helpful, please hit like, subscribe, and share it with family and friends over 60. A small piece of timely knowledge could save their lives. And don't forget to leave a comment letting me know which step you'll try first tomorrow morning. Remember, a glass of water, a few minutes of patience, and the right waking routine can sometimes make the difference between an ordinary day and an unforgettable event.